Yes, people, we are just a few days away from the opening of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. And if you never know, it's 100 years ago that the Parisians have entertained the Olympic Games. But to the issue at hand, are we seeing a retreat from the sphere of Noah Lyles? Is Noah Lyles hiding from the challenges that have now arisen in the blue ribbon event at the Olympic Games, the men's 100 meters final? Now, following the departure of Usain Bolt after 2017, that was his last race, Lyles came into the fold within a year or two thereafter, and he has enjoyed a good run as a 100 and 200 meters sprinter over the years since. Started out as a 200 man and then basically looked around and realized that the times in the 100 meters weren't particularly impressive. And so he took the decision to venture into this realm. And so the 100 kind of became his calling. He won the 100 at the US trials and defended, took on the task of running the 100 meters at the World Championships and what. Now, as I said, Lyles has been enjoying himself, having a grand time, undefeated for years until the then Racers Grand Prix trial, Grand Prix happened in Jamaica, and that was followed up a few weeks later by the Jamaican trials. Now, of course, if you unless you're under a rock, Lyles was beaten at the Olympic trials by oblique Seville. Seville run 9.82, and of course that became the best time of for the event for 2024, and of course it really put a stunner on the Americans who had gone to their own trials and they were having a field day. You know, the Americans looking to repeat not only at the not only just repeat at the 100 or the 200 meters where they took almost blanket finishes 1, 2, 3, but wanted now to go to the Olympic Games and to topple the 100 meters defending champion Lamont Marcel Jacobs. Now Jacobs himself hasn't been doing very well. And when you look at the times that has been run over the 100 meters, certainly over the last 2 years, you have to agree with Usain Bolt when he made a comment a few months ago that the 100 meters final in Paris is anybody's game, you know, as far as Bolt was concerned. Basically, the times the man running was largely pedestrian, 9.8, 9.9. And he himself looked back, you know, I heard him in an interview in London where he had gone to play this charity football match where he got injured, where he talked about, you know, missing the sport based on the times that he saw people running 9.8, 9.9. The man who had run the best time in the 100 meters for a few months, for a few years, would have been Ferdinand Omanyale. Omanyale had run 9.77 seconds at the African Championships, and you know, he was Kenya's sprint champion and the African champion, running 9.77 seconds in 2021. Fred Curley ran 9.76 at the US trials in 2022 in Eugene, Oregon, but that was aided by a plus 1.4 meters per second wind speed, which basically negated that time. Lyles, on the other hand, had a best time of 9.83 seconds, a time that he himself had run in Budapest, Hungary, at the World Championships on August 20 of 2023. You will remember that Oblique Seville finished fourth in that World Championship, following up on his fourth place that he had enjoyed at Eugene, Oregon the year before. And he finished behind Zarnel Hughes, who copped second place. Letsile Tibogo from Botswana, who finished third, and all three, third, second, third, and fourth, basically were awarded the same time of 9.88 seconds. So the times have been, by the standards of a Usain Bolt 9.58, was pedestrian. And so Lyles had been enjoying himself. He basically jumped over the fence, according to one of my brethren commentators, and decided he might take on the 100. And he has been pretty dominant. No, I take nothing away from Lyles, because he has demonstrated his ability as a sprinter. But the issue now is the braggadocio that comes with it was automatically silenced when Oblique basically burst his bubble at the Racers Grand Prix in June of this year with that 9.82 finish. He himself finished at 9.83 or 9.84, if I remember correctly. And then a few weeks later, at the Jamaican trials, this young man came to the fore. This man, Kishane Thompson. And of course, all of the tongues in the world start to whack. Kishane Thompson basically opened the door to the world as to his capacity, not only his capacity as a sprinter, but it really started to set the world alight, because now Jamaica didn't just have an Oblique Seville and to a lesser extent young Blake, who has been feeling his way around. But now here is a contender, 9.77 seconds. This was the fastest time since Omanyale, and certainly it was the fastest time since Fred Curley, who had won the World Championships in 9.86. Thompson, with his 9.77 seconds, now stands as the fourth fastest Jamaican in history, behind Usain Bolt, Johan Blake, and Asafa Powell. And of course, against that background, Noah Lyles, who was scheduled to run this weekend at the Monaco Grand Prix, decided that he was going to sit out the Monaco Grand Prix, as he figured he needed to use the time to sharpen himself for the Olympic Games, which essentially opens in a few days' time. Now, for a man who has so much lyrics and so much lip, one would not have expected that Lyles would have taken this kind of action. Again, the 100, it seemed, was all likely going to be his, with the blanket finish that they enjoyed at the previous Olympic Games, and certainly at the World Championships. The blanket finish they enjoyed at the World Championships, they expected that they were going to carry that over into the Olympics and take this title that Lamont Jacobs, the Italian, has held since the Tokyo Olympics. And so it's now a situation where Jamaica is not just looking like we should pick up a medal in the 100 meters. My bet is that Kishane Thompson, who has clearly demonstrated an ability to run faster, is my favorite to win the 100 in Paris. If you look at Kishane Thompson's times, he has not run the 100 very often, and his runs at the national championships last month were his first outings at this distance for 2024. His 10 best times, the 3 of those times were done during the national trials. He ran 9.82 in his heat, 9.84 in his semi-final, and then blistered a 9.77 finish to take the event and the Jamaican title, followed closely by Oblique Seville, who equaled his best time of 9.82. And immediately, that has now sent the tongues wagging across the world. When we look at a Jacobs and what he has done, one can really say that Jacobs has distinguished himself as a 100 meters Olympic champion. Granted, he won the event in a European record time of 9.8 seconds. And he won ahead of Fred Curley, the American Fred Curley, who finished second in 9.84, and Canada's Andre de Grasse, who finished in at 9.89 seconds, which gave him a second Olympic bronze medal in the event behind the one he won at Rio behind Bolt. And so, Jacobs went on to win a second gold medal when he ran the back stretch in the Italians 4x100 meters relay. And after that, he basically never did anything else. He pulled out of competition in the Grand Prix circuit for the rest of that year. And for most of last year, he was bothered by injuries. I think he turned up at the World Championships and at the 2022 World Championships, and had to withdraw from the semi-final, claiming injuries. He would make a big return last month I think he ran 9.92 in Turku at the World Athletics Continental Tour Gold Meeting on Tuesday, June 18th, where he ran 9.92 seconds. And that was his first sub 10-second clocking in more than a year and a half. So I don't really expect much from Marcel Jacobs because, 9.92 time in my estimation, almost boys champs time, that based on where we are with the 100 meters. But Kishane Thompson at 9.77 seconds, that has really now set the 100 meters as an event that everybody going to be waiting on with bated breath. This man, Omanyala, he had run the best time in the last 3 years prior to Kishane, 9.77 seconds. And so now that Kishane Thompson has announced himself, it is clear that the men's 100 meters final at the Paris Olympics is going to be something that is worth watching. For the first time since 2017, Jamaica is not just putting a representative out there, but it is my view that with Kishane understanding the rounds, getting some tweaking from his coach, he's going to challenge this field that is out there. And I expect that we will be in the medal count. I expect us to win that gold medal. I'm putting Kishane ahead of Lyles because I believe that Kishane has the ability, demonstrated the ability that he has that to run faster, and I'm looking forward to that from him. Now, this is just my little piece. Not going to say anything else on the rest of the 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 sprints until my next video. So what I'm going to invite you to do is that if you like the video, I am going to ask you to please like and share. And if you have not yet done so, I'm going to invite you to subscribe to the channel for more insightful and informative commentaries on sports and other social and political issues. And remember, like, share, subscribe, because there's a whole heap more where this one come from. Blessed.